Thank you for tuning in. Episode 21. The equation of life is about education. That is our true gift. This episode is titled The Gift of Everything. Lesson 6. The greatest gift that was given was that we could have a form of education. The gift of knowledge would become our pursuits. Knowledge isn't guaranteed, but learning about some things would be the natural course of life. Life's greatest gift is to become educated. And no, I'm not just talking about reading and writing. Those are some forms of it. Part of the process, I should say. Education leads to learning about the world. This attainment could be as a formal system, one that's universally constructed, and that has universal appeal. Thus, we have established our institutions. But what I've learned from my experience is that knowledge abounds naturally. It is corralled to make sense. For us to make sense of this world, there needs to be some form of a formal study to have an understanding of education so that everyone would benefit. Thus, we have a universal construct that we can pass on to later generations. Universal knowledge as a construct will be where our knowledge abounds. Knowledge abounds because that's what we do. We go figure things out. We have been put here to learn about ourselves, about the world, about each other. And that has been the gift that God has given. It is to put into order what has been chaos, but also to advance civilization. So an education that includes everyone is best. Whether it's formal or informal doesn't matter, as long as there is building from a construct. A construction that builds from the latter while taking the former to a whole new stratosphere. And we also have the aerial view of contemplation, which deals with our reflection. And we are born to have reflection, which makes us capable of peering into our rear view, as if going backwards, looking backwards into memories that we have that could become nostalgic. And we can selectively dream upon them, wishing we could possibly change our circumstances or have done something just to have a better outcome in many of our situations. We move because we can. And it's because of our knowledge. And we move because of what we've been through already, taking those reflective steps from that knowledge, which would be whatever we have come across or added into our sphere and symphony of thoughts. And that is how education becomes formal too. We can decide upon which category builds upon something else where it belongs, concentrate on it, and keep building from there. Then that area of concentration becomes a construct. Now, taking this back to when I had become formally educated, as in learning something, you consider that to have been from my first day of school, formally learning. However, it starts way before, from our familial ties, our family bonds, where they're formed and where we can first develop. So those norms get passed down to us through that body language of our initial upbringing. That is the setting. That bond, it seems, is securing us and setting the foundation for how we might formally learn later on. Whether it will be from institutions or from navigating our sequels in life. Those are also the established forms of exchanges. So everyone gets to learn about something regardless, whether formally or informally. There will always be something to engage with. Saying that amounts to this. It is that education is the root of our foundation. And education, if you can formally learn, it can help us to develop and bring us those keys to life. We would be adjusting them as we're living according to the space, time, and differences. It will be what we have learned about the world and subsequently the universe. Because as we get better at learning within the walls of those institutions, and even if there's no walls where we're formally bound, everything will be viewed as universal. And the key to having obtained skills becomes rudimentary, as in secondary, because we must follow the order of sequences. There is an order in this world, and it chides us along according to our abilities and circumstances. That is the key lesson as a takeaway. It is not to become confused from the education that we might get, because we must share it with everyone else. But there can be a bit of assumption that everyone may think alike, though studying the same subjects or different things. But that can be likened to us processing our food. The food as we eat it, it may take one path. It may take one path in our bodies as we bring it in. It could be considered as one path, as one avenue. It also could be considered as one view of that information going into the same source. But digesting for everyone can be totally different. The goal is to have the universal order remain the same so that we will not upset that order, maintaining the balance within it. However, universal thoughts can be digested according to one's path, the path they have chosen and taken in life. Some will have more interest in some things than others. Therefore, as we hone our skills taking them in formally or informally, that path leads to productiveness in education. There's beauty in chaos. Why is the order of the day often what we're trying to establish? It's because when there is no order, there can be chaos. Chaos can ensue anywhere, regardless whether or not things can be orderly. There's disarray in our thinking, as well as what's put in our pathways, because everyone doesn't think alike, because of how they may have digested something. The beauty of human nature is that we could follow the paths of our own growth, and growing on the inside is how we would develop. So there's beauty in chaos, because chaos is what gets us thinking, moving, solving puzzles as equations, and moving ahead in life as we can decide upon which paths to choose. Another thing I've learned about the synergies that get passed along universally is that God takes us on a journey of discovery, and where that discovery leads us sometimes will be our own choosing. But there also will be many times when we won't have the choices to choose formally or informally. Therefore, our slate has been decided as predestined for us. In the end, it will be what we want versus what we have done. That is the universal construct for every person, and it pertains to their path of growth. So the aerial view of our construct will be to decide upon those things that are best. For every opportunity that's presented, we want to give it our best. And that is what we're taught at an early age or shown how to do. But it may not be what happens.